I was on the train recently. Next to me sat a woman about my age and her mom. The daughter caught me looking and smiled, and like clockwork, we started chatting. First trip together, she said, visiting from Spain. If you'd watched us from across the car, you'd think we were old friends. I have one of those faces that says, "Your secret is safe with me." As they stood to exit, she leaned in and whispered, "It's such a blessing to do this with her." I smiled in agreement because caring for aging parents can be a blessing. Caregiving is everywhere. Roughly 1 in 4 U.S. adults is a caregiver, most for adults, and the economic value of unpaid care is now estimated around $600 billion a year. That's love, logistics, lost time, and real money holding up families in an under-resourced system. But inside those numbers are people caring for parents who were neglectful, emotionally unavailable, controlling, or abusive. Their story rarely fits the public script of be grateful and carry on. Two things can be true. You can love someone and still remember the trauma they cause. You can provide care and still feel anger, grief, and resentment, and sometimes nothing at all. Many of us were parentified, treated like the adult in a child's body. We were told caring for siblings wasn't just expected, it was moral. So when our parents age, caregiving feels pre-assigned, regardless of the harm we endured. Caregiving at midlife sits on top of everything else. Jobs that devalued your experience, rising costs, medical systems that are hard to navigate, kids who still need you, and a body that's changing. Women shoulder most of the care. The average caregiver is right around 50. This isn't just a season, it's a second shift with moral weight and very real financial and health impacts. But duty formed in childhood doesn't have to dictate adulthood. You can honor reality and still choose a level of care that protects your health. Caring for someone who harmed you reopens old wounds. History of parental maltreatment changes the caregiving experience and outcomes. So it's not in your head. If staying in contact risks your mental health or physical safety, low contact or no contact is a legitimate boundary. If your community equates boundaries with betrayal, remember, reverence without honesty is erasure. You can honor your parents' humanity without deleting your own story or pretending the past didn't happen. No matter how old you are, parent-child relationships can be complicated. Sometimes there isn't anyone else. Choices are thin, and you end up carrying the role by default. When care isn't a decision, but a necessity, your job becomes designing the smallest sustainable version of it, enough to keep them safe without breaking yourself. Only me doesn't have to mean all of me. Shrink the role until it fits. Define what you can realistically do. Name what you can't, and bring in whatever support exists. Programs, paperwork, neighbors, faith networks, a paid aide for the hard hours. Set a hard stop. You'll actually enforce around time, money, and behavior so you can keep showing up without disappearing. That's not selfish. It's the only way default care survives. Default care doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens inside systems that make it heavier. Society has a way of asking much while providing very little. Family caregivers prop up an aging system that underfunds home and community-based services, undertrains helpers, and then moralizes exhaustion when we bend. The reality on the ground is a maze, months-long waiver wait lists, means testing that punishes modest savings, aides who turn over every few weeks, no night coverage, rural deserts with no providers, language access that's an afterthought, and paperwork that assumes you have a weekday off to chase signatures. Even where policies exist, they arrive as headlines, not help. A federal strategy on paper, while your kitchen table is juggling pillboxes, bills, and siblings who vanished. Pair compassion with pressure. Push your employer for paid caregiver leave, schedule flexibility, and basic training. Ask your union, church, or mutual aid circle to build respite rosters. Show up at city and state meetings where home care budgets are set. Document your hours and costs. Numbers move policy. This load should not be carried by willpower and guilt. It should be shared by workplaces, communities, and governments that benefit from your unpaid labor. Caring for aging parents can reopen old wounds or let us give back to those who gave us everything. It also turns a lens on our own future. Care is a mirror. It forces the question, what will aging look like for me? How might my children respond if I one day need their help? The answer is shaped by what we model now. If we want care without resentment later, we have to relate without secrecy, guilt, or parentifying today. That means telling the truth about limits, apologizing when we miss the mark, and refusing to recruit our kids as our therapists. It also means letting them watch us set healthy boundaries with our own parents so they learn that love and self-respect can live in the same room. The mirror is practical too. Handle the paperwork that breaks families, advance directives, healthcare proxy, power of attorney, a beneficiary checkup, a simple will. Put key documents in one place and tell your children where they are. Say out loud what you want for housing, medical care, and end of life so they are not guessing under pressure. Create a small care plan for yourself. Now, who to call first, what support you'd prefer, what you can realistically afford, so your children inherit clarity, not chaos. Schedule regular family check-ins that aren't crisis calls. Offer roles they can say yes or no to. The care you hope to receive later begins with the culture you build at home now. This is part 3 of our end of the year Midlife series. If you haven't already done so, consider subscribing and share this video with someone who might find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.